And this first one is from Sudhir Vadaketh. Sudhir is a writer, he's a blogger. He just recently released a book called Malayan Breeze. This is what he wrote. Dear friends, whatever our political beliefs, we should collectively oppose this regulation. Nobody should tell you what news is good and what is bad. That is for you to decide. Some people would say, never mind, it's only 10 websites. But that's only the beginning. You give 1 inch, eventually they take 1 mile. Never let the authorities believe that they are more enlightened than you. This new ruling will feed self-censorship in Singapore. Definitely in all those 10 websites, but also amongst other online writers. Self-censorship is a terrible thing. It infects the writer slowly, subconsciously. All of us in Singapore are affected by self-censorship. It prevents us from having a richer, fuller dialogue. Although we disagree with something someone is saying online, we should fight for that someone's right to say it. Even if you trust the current government and the current MDA to do the right thing, do you trust tomorrow's government? Do you trust tomorrow's MDA? You may hold the majority opinion now, but one day you might be in a minority. When that day comes, you will be thankful that we have a free internet for you to speak your mind. Thank you. Some of you may be old enough to remember a long time ago when Singapore had a very vibrant, even feisty media and press scene. And then something happened, 70s, 80s, and suddenly we only have 2 news media companies in Singapore. And honestly, we have been the worst off for it. And since the internet is here, we must do everything we can to protect that space. Because if you don't, you are just left with a media of newspaper and radio and TV that tells you what the government wants you to hear. Before we go to the next one, we have a little note from Zeng. Rachel couldn't come today because she's getting she's graduating today, so she has a ceremony to attend. But she wrote us this short note that I'm going to read now. As an individual who believes that the freedom of opinions and expression, as well as free access to information, are part of our basic fundamental rights, I would like to voice out against the new licensing regime imposed by the MDA. It is not about the fear of being censored, as the mainstream media has been trying to imply in their reports regarding this issue. It is about having an authority controlling over a space that belongs to all of us. It is about the power of an authority which has given itself power to request that news sites remove articles that are of bad taste within 24 hours upon notice. Personally, I do not believe that any authority should be given that power to define and decide for us information or opinions that are safe or harmful. In fact, should anyone speak up against it or share their own perspectives? Should anyone have any problems with the articles they have come across, they should speak up against it or share their own perspectives. This is how free speech works. Only through the process of being exposed to different perspectives does a society progress intellectually. Since we do not get that from our mainstream media or through our education system, we should do our brains a huge favor by letting the opinions remain as diverse as they can online. With that, I maintain the stand that the whole licensing regime should be dropped. Thank you, Risa. Yeah, we all bloggers are them jialat. You know, already New Year, the 4th day of the New Year, lawyer letter sent already. Sent to who you know now? Alex Au, Yawning Bread. Right? We look at Alex is like a lao da to us because the fellow is damn smart. His brain are not human one. You know? Serious, you go and read his blog, he is really brilliant. Okay? But the Prime Minister sent him a letter, say, Alex, you talk nonsense, please take it down or else I'm going to sue you. So we have no choice but to take it down. Here's the thing, you see, it's very easy for them to do it. Our only defense is our guarantee of our rights under the Constitution. Okay? If you allow the government to do as they like, they will rule and bulldoze all over you. And with these new regulations, they can do that. Now, not tomorrow, next year, next week, 10 years from now. Now, because last Saturday, already take effect already. This is the law. What we are asking for today is for the government to have some common sense and some rationality, right, to withdraw the regulations and go through the proper channels. And one person who agrees with this is Siew Kum Hong. How many of you know about him? Kum Hong was a nominated member of parliament before. He volunteered with the Online Citizen as well. A lot of people, volunteer with POC nowadays. He sent me this from overseas. It's just a short note. I'll read it here. I am not able to be here in Hong Lim Park today because I am overseas. But I must start by thanking Andrew for helping to read this on my behalf. I may be overseas, but today my heart is in Singapore, in Hong Lim Park, in solidarity with all of you. Because today, we all stand together, wherever we may be around the world, against this new MDA licensing framework. We have heard many assurances from many government ministers and officials, but the government refuses to put those assurances into law. The government refuses to declare that non-commercial sites will never be subject to individual licensing. In this case, what is not said and not done speaks louder, far louder than anything that has actually been said so far. Today, we stand together to fight for our freedom of expression. The people have already spoken. Talking Points poll showed that 73% of Singaporeans think the new framework will limit online news content. The government tries so hard to show that it listens to the people. Well, the best way it can show that is by listening to us and all the other Singaporeans who have spoken and scrap the new licensing framework. Thank you. How many of you watched the Talking Point program with Tan Chong Kee on TV? Very funny, right? You all notice, right? In the beginning, the percentage of people who think that the new regulations will not limit online content was only 53% when the program started. As the program progressed, you see the percentage going up and up now. But it's very curious because Tan Chong Kee tried so hard to explain to you, trying to study that it is not like that. It is good for you, in fact. But as he explained more, the percentage that don't believe in this go up even more. Until in the end, from 53%, at the end of the program, it was 73%. So that is very clear message to the government that Singaporeans do not approve of this law, do not approve of how they went about enforcing this law, and I think Singaporeans also want them to to withdraw this law. Don't you agree? In 2001, there was this person called Tan Chong Kee. How many of you have heard of him? Not many people have heard of him, but he was among the first to start a website in Singapore to discuss socio-political issues. And his website was called Sinterkom. And on the website, he hosts forums for people. So in the early days of the internet, people go there to talk about, the government, go and talk about whatever political issues or social issues and all that. So we, the bloggers today, we are not the first. There was already someone who did that a long time ago. But here's the funny thing, right? The government at the time, under the Singapore Broadcasting Authority, the SBA at the time, now they are the NBA, but at the time it was the SBA. So Tan Chong Kee that, hey, hello, you have to register your website. So Tan Chong Kee said, okay, let me think about it. Right? But in the end, he did register the website. So after he registered the website, he took some of his articles already from his website, already published articles. Then he sent it to the SBA and said, can you tell me whether these articles infringe your rules or not? But the SBA didn't want to answer him. You see? So he said, like that you make my life very difficult, right? Then I don't know what is right, what is wrong, what can be published, what cannot be published. Your rules are also vague, so ambiguous. So then what happened? Because the consequences were so serious for him, Tan Chong Kee decided to close down his website. Because there's no choice. You don't know what to publish, what not to publish, what can be published, what cannot be published. The government only knows. But yet the government itself is confused. So who knows? Nobody knows. But the only person who decides is the government. So you cannot play by those kinds of rules, right? And therefore, Tan Chong Kee closed down his website. And we hold us a note for today. He says, the internet, this is Tan Chong Kee. The internet is a free marketplace for ideas. In the long run, those whose ideas are persuasive or interesting will gain readership and credibility, while those whose ideas are hackneyed or disingenuous will lose readership and credibility. From 2002 to 2010, Straits Times daily reach among Singaporeans over 15 has dropped from 43% to 36%. Meanwhile, anecdotal evidence suggests that local bloggers are gaining readership. Would this new licensing, or more accurately, censorship regulation, be introduced if the situation had been reversed? Of course not. It is no accident that the regulation targets sites that have more than 50,000 views or unique visitors. These are precisely the sites that manage to gain readership in a free marketplace of ideas. When a government tries to suppress free speech and hamper the spread of ideas that resonate with the people, who benefits and who loses? The people lose because their space for critical thinking has shrunk. In turn, their sense of empowerment diminishes and their sense of belonging dies. What the ruling elites gain in terms of a more pliant citizenry is offset by the loss of enthusiasm and political support, not to mention the loss of international prestige. To say that this is to ensure Singaporeans read the right thing is so laughable, it cannot even qualify as an insult to our intelligence. It is merely a demonstration of the government's intellectual bankruptcy. There's a message from Tan Chong Kee, and it is true, and I concur totally 100% with him. To 12 years on, we are still talking about the same thing. 12 years since 2001, since this thing happened to Tan Chong Kee, we are still talking about the same thing. This government is bringing us backward, not forward.